And we are live. Welcome to OmniBros Live, the show about nothing. I'm OmniDog here from OmniDog's Vault, joined as always by, not as always, who are these two guys? We've got Riley. What's up, Riley?
I just got pinged on my phone that Omnibros has a video going on right now.
Oh, cool.
I thought those jackasses were washed up.
Speaking of washed up jackasses, there's Louise. How's it going, Louise?
Oh,
Dang.
If you only knew how accurate that is.
So here we are. The old gang is back together again. The band is back together again. And we are doing a show about nothing. So that ought to be good.
It should be good. Nobody gave us a topic.
Well, Gio threw out like 50 topics.
Yeah.
But he's in Puerto Rico, so it doesn't matter. We've forgotten all about them.
I suggested, because Gio first suggested, like, hey, y'all should do a character episode. And I was like, yeah, what character? And then no one said a character.
Carnage.
Carnage. I can do a Carnage episode. I didn't do that shit. That Carnage Omnibus that's coming out, I am throwing down some cash for that. Like,
that cover looks so terrible.
But the insides are gonna be so great. The Jerry Conway run on Carnage was just fan-flippin-tastic. And I have not read most of the previous stuff that's in there. I've read a couple of the miniseries, but not all of them. But that run alone sells the book for me. Like, when I first saw it solicited, I was like, Carnage Omnibus, what are you doing? And then I looked at the contents and I was like, I see what you're doing and I like it. It was like H.P. Lovecraft Carnage. It's like Eldritch Horror Carnage.
I can't wait for that.
It's ridiculous.
I'm really excited for it because I don't know anything about him really, and so this would be a great way for me to be introduced to him.
What was there was a Carnage miniseries where he was like with the American flag or something on the cover? I can't remember the name of it.
Carnage USA.
Was that it?
Yeah, that's that one and the one that preceded it that was just called Carnage. Those are the two that I did not read. And then the one after that that's collected, not a miniseries, but the crossover Minimum Carnage. It was between Venom and Scarlet Spider. I read that. That was pretty good, I guess. I wasn't the biggest fan of the Scarlet Spider series. A lot of other people I know really liked it, but I think a lot of it's because I am from Houston and the book is set in Houston, and that is not Houston. Like, there's a scene in there where like someone is standing in the road and then a car comes and they're like, oh my God. And I was like, and they were downtown. And I'm like, if you were standing in the road downtown, you wouldn't have time to say, oh my God, a car's coming because it's gridlock traffic all the time. So like, that's not Houston. I don't know. It was really dumb to me, but anyway, and then I think the other miniseries it collects is Carnage Axis, which is like,
I heard that's good. I've heard that's good.
Yeah, it was that one and the Hobgoblin series are both pretty fun. It's basically like he's like, because in the Axis, all the good guys are like kind of acting bad, and all the bad guys are kind of acting good. And so it's Carnage having like a real crisis of conscience, I guess.
Yeah.
And then after that is the Jerry Conway stuff.
Yeah, I read
phenomenal.
I read bits and pieces of the Axis Carnage stuff, and I really actually dug that because, like you said, it's Carnage having like a midlife crisis basically through it. Like, should I really be this horrible killing machine? And towards the end of it, you end up kind of sympathizing with him because he doesn't want to go back to the way he was before. I dug it. I dug that little mini series. It was one of the few things that came out of Axis that I was like, oh, this is pretty good.
And what about got the Ven Omnibus coming out as well?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one too.
I'm surprised we haven't gotten a Maximum Carnage Omnibus yet.
I'm betting that we're going to see a Carnage Classic Omnibus at some point, and it's basically going to have all the contents of the Carnage Classic paperback and Maximum Carnage. Because Carnage Classic is like everything to do with Carnage from his first appearance until like before J. Michael Straczynski's run on Spider-Man. But it doesn't include Maximum Carnage. So I'm betting that both of those things, plus maybe a few things from like Brian Bendis's Avengers, like the Sentry, spoiler alert for like a decade-old comic, throwing Carnage into the sun, or tearing him in half and throwing him into space. That's what it was. It's like, fuck you.
Now he has a son, Toxic, right? I never read any of that shit.
Toxin, yeah. If you give me 2 seconds, I actually have the paperback.
How is that?
It's okay.
I never read it. I've heard pretty terrible things.
It's I wouldn't have spent more than cover on it. I'm glad that I didn't. I was really interested in getting it because I was like, I like symbiotes, and this was out of print even back when I found it, and I found it at a random store, and I was like, I will buy this. And I just liked the way that Toxin looked. Like he's like half red, half black, all attitude, and like, I don't know, it was okay. It's Peter Milligan, you know, he's pretty hot and cold. And then Derek Robertson is the artist on here. So the art works okay, I guess, but I really like that Assad Ribic cover. That's some
Ribic? Really?
sick, yeah, that's some sick looking shit right there. But yeah, that's the Toxin miniseries, and it's got the dude that has if I can find a good picture of him, he's got like swords for arms and shit. Here's a picture of like one of his arms. But anyway, that was a thing.
That book looks fun.
It's fun. It's just not. I wouldn't recommend paying over. Like cover price is $18, and I can barely say I'd recommend paying $18 for it. I think $10 is a good price.
So would you say it's worth an Ollie's pickup?
Yes, because it would be like $2.
Ah, okay.
At Ollie's. Everyone wants to go to Ollie's.
People driving 2 hours out of their way to go to Ollie's.
My nearest Ollie's is 5 hours away, I think.
What are you waiting for, man? Get going.
I think I'm gonna go on Saturday.
Are you really?
No.
What to say? Geez, man, you're really dedicated.
No, I know Omar stopped at an Ollie's while he was traveling for work, and he said he got Batman Second Chances paperback.
Yeah.
Pretty good little find, but he said, yeah, it's just the same stuff that everyone finds every single time they go. Most of which is like not the greatest things. I've seen some people find some pretty cool stuff. Like at least one person had some question trade paperbacks from the Denny O'Neil run. So that was a pretty cool find. Some people found some Starman stuff. So every once in a while you find something good, or if you're just looking to fill in gaps, like I know they had a bunch of like New 52 hardcovers of Batman and Detective Comics. If that's all you were looking to do, then they could help out with that. But it didn't seem like there was any like real whales like you're gonna find for super cheap. It was just stuff that they're trying to put out of storage.
Okay. Basically, they just had a whole shit ton of these books, and they're like, yeah, let's just get rid of them. These nerds will pick them up anyway.
Yeah, and a lot of those wind up going to half-price books anyway, so I wind up finding those things over there, and they'll usually be still sealed for less than half cover. So
What's the best half-price books deal you found?
The Question Volume 1 for $10.
Oh, I remember that.
Ooh, I remember that too. That was awesome.
That was it was so awesome because it was just one of those days when I was just, traipsing around town, not really a plan. And I was like, well, I'm going to go to the comic shop and then I'm going to hit the half price that's right next to it. And I went in there and I wasn't looking for it. Like every time I go to the store, I always look for the question, and obviously every single other time they didn't have it. And then this time I'm just going through, and it's like I have like 5 or 6 different books that I always look for, and I wasn't expecting it, and I was like, all right, LMNOPQ, what the fuck? And just grabbed it. I pulled it off the shelf expecting for it to be like $50 at least, and it was $9.99. I was like, holy shit. Like one of those moments where you have to like look around real quick, like, am I about to get mugged? And I ran to the counter and bought it, and no one told me that I owed them $90. They're just like, yeah, you're good.
Didn't you find a Fantastic Four Wade #2 in Half Price Books?
No, I got that one at a full price books.
Oh, but you still found it on the shelf. I remember that.
It was a store in Dallas. Dallas is also where I found my Inferno hardcover. So that and that Toxin paperback I found at the same store that I found the Fantastic Four Volume 2.
I remember that was back in your Tumblr days, I think, when I was a follower of yours on Tumblr.
I was gonna say, like, I'm pretty sure that was prior to the Facebook group.
Yeah.
But yeah, I found a lot of good shit in Dallas. I probably should go back.
Probably.
And hit up the Ollies in Dallas while you're there.
I don't think there's not one in Dallas, because the closest one to me is Louisiana.
Louisiana.
Yeah.
You gotta cross state lines to get to an Ollie's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
If I was already going to Louisiana for something, I might go if it was like not out of the way, but I don't know. I like the thrilling hunt of ordering things on the internet and waiting for them to come to my door.
I just want to give a quick shout out to the fabulous Tyler Blunt, who I just saw was in the chat that he's packing and moving. He did me a real solid today. It's a little early for me to talk about it, but he's spent about half an hour on the phone with me, giving me advice, and he is the man. What a great guy Tyler Blunt is.
Yeah. We've got some good news coming in the future. We can't talk about it just yet, though.
Right.
We also have some bad news coming in the future.
We got Greg Land on a live stream next week.
It was Greg Land and Chris Ware and Daniel Way and Robert Kirkman are going to be our live stream guests, lined up like one at a time. They're going to be doing
the Grand Slam of Omni hate.
I honest to God, I think if me and Jess show up at a con and Robert Kirkman is there, he would just look at us and go, "Fuck you," and just walk away.
You think he'd recognize us?
You probably more than me, because you destroyed one of his precious books.
Yeah, I wonder if someone like went to Twitter and was like, Mr. Kirkman, Mr. Kirkman. This guy didn't like Wolfman.
What is it, boy?
What is it, young one? You bring me distressing news about my comic books. This old guy drowned Wolfman in root beer. I hate root beer. And then he like transforms into, I don't know, an invincible zombie Wolfman.
How about I wish you'd transform into a competent writer. I know for a fact that Kirkman watches your shows.
Robert Kirkman is like every Thursday night, but every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday night, he watches our shows and like cries. With money. In the money pit. Yeah, he's wiping his tears with $100 bill and he's like, why won't they like me? It's okay, Robert. Like, I still read your books. It's not that I love them, but I'll still read them. I trudge through issues of Outcast for you.
Wait, we've never heard your thoughts on Outcast. How'd you feel about it? Right? I've never heard of it.
When I started reading it, I thought it was pretty good. I was like, okay, cool. And then I kept reading it and I was like, nothing's really happening. Nothing's really happening. I guess things are kind of happening, but not really. And I don't know, it's just like it just kind of happens every month. Just there. At least like with Invincible, I'm like, well, it's about to end, so I know finale around the corner. And with The Walking Dead, I'm like, well, it's never gonna end. So I better just not enjoy this roller coaster while I'm on it. But with Outcast, it's like being
This is
stuck
the
in
thing.
line at the grocery store.
This is a thing.
Yeah, it's I don't know what it. I don't know. I feel like I'm being really mean. Like it's not that. I'm not the Kirkman hater. You guys are. I'm not the one who hates him. I just think that his stuff is read better in chunks, and that's how most people experience it. Because as soon as I started reading like Invincible and The Walking Dead in single issues, I was like, it lost its splendor. Like it wasn't as spectacular anymore. And I'm like, I need to go back and read this in like 40 issue chunks, because that's the only way that it really does anything for me.
I just
Who
want to
has
make
time
sure,
to do that?
you know, I don't hate Kirkman. I just dislike his writing.
I hate him.
Okay. Luis hates him. I just dislike his writing.
Well, Luis also hates him on a personal level.
That's true.
Like,
Oh,
like Greg Land, I think that he's an atrocious artist, but I've never talked to him. Like, he could be the nicest guy in the world, and I'd feel like bad. I'd be like, dude, you're so great, but why does your art suck? Like, why can't you find something that you're good at, like making art 20 years ago?
I didn't know you had a personal thing about him, Luis.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's a dick.
Okay.
That's where I'll end it at. That he's a dick. I've just heard stories. That's all.
Jess, what's on your shirt? It looks cool. It's a Hulk shirt. I can't see it. I like that.
Yeah, it was from Marvel Collector Corps Funko shirt.
Oh, wow. Usually their shirts have a Funko Pop on it.
I know. I hate those. This one was cool.
You're like, I will never wear one of those shirts, but this one's cool.
Kenneth says, Greg Land's artwork, have not liked it since he did that one panel in Peter David's Supergirl run. One panel broke you on Greg Land. Wow. Is that bad of a panel?
I've seen some pretty bad panels.
God damn. Okay.
I don't know
Swamp Thing
which
has
one.
my shirt too.
I don't know which one he's talking about, but I wouldn't blame you. I don't. I mean, for me, it was like I never really paid attention to who Greg Land was until I kept realizing, like, what's with all the shitty art in these X-Men books? And then I like realized it was the same person every time, and I was like, why are you doing this to me? Like, why are you working with writers that I enjoy? That's hell. Like, that's literally hell. Is you get a bunch of comics by your favorite writers, but Greg Land does the artwork. It's torture.
Hey, Jess, are you still reading Cowboy Ninja Viking?
I gave up.
It's incoherent. It's an incoherent mess.
I got about halfway through it and I gave up.
Yeah.
I could make neither heads nor tails of it. I blame the art for part of it. I thought that I'm not sure why Rossmo's considered that great of an artist. I know the scritchy scratchy style is popular with some people, but it was hard to follow the art, and it was you were just dropped in the middle of the story, and you're supposed to figure things out for yourself. And I get it. You don't want to be spoon fed everything, but I also want to be able to understand things. And the art didn't help, and the story didn't help. It was really tough for me to understand what was going on.
For me, it was an incoherent mess. I'm like, what the hell is going? It didn't make almost any sense to me.
Yeah. How long ago did you read it?
It's been 4 years ago, 4 years ago at this point. It's been a long time.
I never read it, but I remember hearing like a lot of people talked really well about it, so I was always intrigued. Like I remember when it was coming out in singles, and like the guys at the comic shop were like, "This is dope." I never read it, and I still kind of want to give it a chance because I do sometimes like things that other people don't. But I do sometimes dislike things that other people like. So I don't know. But it's written by Jim Zub, isn't it?
No, it's written by I don't have it in front of me. It's upstairs.
I'm gonna look it up.
Oh no, it's right there.
AJ Lieberman.
Yeah.
Why did I think it was Jim Zub?
That's
I think I was thinking of like, what was that other Image series that Zub did? Skull Kickers. For some reason, I was thinking about Skull Kickers.
I enjoyed a little bit of Skull Kickers. I read all.
He did Wayward too, which I liked.
He's writing for Marvel now. He's part of the Avengers Brain Trust.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It just started like the first issue of the big three-way Avengers orgy between Jim Zub, Al Ewing, and Mark Waid. Actually, the second issue came out this week, but I read last week's first issue, and it was pretty good. I actually really enjoyed it. It's like a cool like start to a big storyline where everyone's like, shit's going down, and every Avenger needs to be here, and then they gather every single Avenger, and then shit's going down. That's about it. But it's really cool because it's like the Avengers from like the main book by Mark Waid, and then Uncanny Avengers by Jim Zub, and the U.S. Avengers, which the U.S. Avengers are awesome, are all coming together. So you're seeing like, Red Hulk with the American swim pants is going to be teaming up with like, I don't know, fucking everyone else, and that's going to be great.
I love Red Hulk with the U.S. swim pants. That's fantastic.
Oh man.
Hey Jess, can you take care of that?
I'm trying.
Okay.
I really am trying. I don't get it.
Who's telling us that we're pedophiles now? Kill scenes. Eat your children.
Mark Waid isn't good.
That's a question mark, though.
That's a question mark? I like Mark Waid.
Mark Waid gets really butthurt on Twitter.
He does. Hey Jess, if you want, just scroll over Nick's name. Those three little dots. It should allow you to make him a mod. At least that's how it works. At least that's how it works on my channel.
Okay, wait a sec.
I'm enjoying this actually.
Just go to channel or report.
No.
For the three dots.
In the chat. And
Yeah.
you can be able to do it from the chat.
It's Greg Land spamming us from John.
Lewis, when are you going to read Red Hood and the Outlaws Rebirth? When Pigs Fly?
But that's the one that's supposed to be really, really good.
I don't believe it.
I told everyone I didn't believe it either, but I think Jess, didn't you read the first book?
Yeah, he's been trying to convince me to buy it for like the past month.
I mean, everyone. I actually got some shit like for saying that I didn't want to read it, and I was like, all right, well, I'll eventually get to reading it.
Yeah, Luis, when are you going to review Codpiece Thor?
You know, there's a time and a place when a man must admit that he's screwed up and I screwed up. I'm gonna get to it eventually. Eventually, with everything else going on right now. Like I just with my new job, I just started a new schedule. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I get home almost at 7 o'clock at night, and I leave for work around 5:30 in the morning. So it's one of those days.
I'm really learning a lot from this Jehovah's Dragon guy.
I've recorded him 40,000 times, and it's doing nothing.
I went to a very Bible-oriented schools for my entire life, and I didn't really learn about any of the stuff that he's saying. So that's really cool. Like, no flesh will survive Armageddon, dum-dums, rapture is demonic teaching. I didn't know that, honestly. Wake up, zombies, repent, cowards, the kingdom of the baby killer is near. I didn't know about that either. So it's actually a really nice, informative conversation that we're having here about, I guess, the rapture, which I believe is coming soon, as Rorschach told us back in 1985. So, nuke Israel, make the world a better place, burn all Scientology magazines. One time when I was in New York City, I accidentally got drug into a Scientologist church, and it was really nice. But they did want me to give them money, and I was like, dude, I'm poor. I'm like 18. I don't have any money.
Have you ever done the Scientologist thing?
Jehovah's Witnesses rape little children, as said by Jehovah's Dragon.
I'm trying to do something, and it's just not working. It's not letting me delete or anything. It says report, and it's not letting me do anything. There must be a way for me to...
Confirmed, I am a Scientologist.
There we go. Okay.
Did you get it?
Yeah, I think so. Oh, fuck.
Google Flat Earth Theory. Google Hollow Earth. Google the ice ring that's around the world, and it's in Antarctica, and you can't... Why do they keep people out of Antarctica? What's there? Why doesn't the government let you go into Antarctica? Australia's not real.
Oh my god.
They made it up. He's an atheist and believes that God is evil, but that, like, if you're atheist, you don't believe in God, so how do you believe that God is evil?
Hey, I'm an atheist, but I'm not a jackass about it.
But that doesn't... I don't believe in God, but God is evil.
All right.
Okay, so comic books. He's miso-theist, so his miso soup is his religion.
Oh man. That's what happens when Lewis calls out Kirkman. Oh my god.
I'm happy that, like, it's not a bot.
No, this isn't a bot either.
Because he responded to what I fucking said.
Who? I think I'm gonna ask Gabe after the stream's over if he could take this and cut it, like this whole chunk.
It's pretty fucking hilarious. It looks like it got taken care of, though. I guess maybe Jess figured it out.
Well, I mean, I'm complaining about every single one, but they're getting retracted.
It just says message retracted now and everything. It's pretty funny because I was convinced it was a bot at first, and then he responded, That was fucking hilarious. Kenny, I have Takis. I haven't busted the bag open, but that's what I got. And I'm drinking a Modelo, so I figured I'd keep it thematically similar here.
I really want to make Nick and Matt moments in the chat.
Oh, man.
Why did I get reported?
That was an accident. Sorry, Greco. That was an accident.
He took that personally.
Okay. Anyway, so what else is happening on the show about nothing?
I don't know, but if we made John P a mod, I'm pretty sure it would just be him in the chat because he would just block everybody else. I wish Omar was here to roast this guy. It would have been hilarious. Is Arrow Comics still in publication? Is the company still around? What the hell is Arrow Comics?
I don't know.
Thanks, Daddy.
Daddy?
Something going on with you and Greco, man? We don't know about.
I'm really having to work hard tonight. I mean, I'm not having to. I'm not contributing anything to the chat except for going through this and trying to report things and block people.
Nobody wants me to read, I'm guessing, Harley Quinn fan fiction. Okay.
Daddy-O.
Like Grant,
I like. Yeah, Daddy-O. You can call me Daddy-O.
I kind of miss the guy with the Rapture stuff, though.
Oh, fuck.
Is the 6-gun hardcover worth a buy? Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, 6-gun is fun.
Great. It's a really great Western, sci-fi, horror Western story. Plus, those hardcovers are beautiful. They're huge.
Jess is too stoned to do this shit. Yeah, the doctor was good to me.
Oh, the Jehovah Dragon.
Jess, did you go to the Room Theater showing? I did. That was last Wednesday, and it was great. They were throwing spoons, and people were yelling out exactly what they were supposed to yell out at the right time, and quoting things and throwing water bottles. It was great. I had a blast.
What comes first, Morrison's New X-Men or Whedon's Astonishing? Morrison's New X-Men.
You're stealing my X-Men questions.
What's you guys' favorite Image comic? That's a good one. There's a lot of good shit out from Image. All of all time?
Lazarus.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you, Lazarus. God, I love that book.
Yeah, I'm doing a big Image readathon where I'm reading all my Image oversized hardcovers, and I mean they're all great, but I mean I read Saga. I did not read all of Cowboy Ninja Viking. I still have to get to Manhattan Project, Satellite Sam. I've already read the Fade Out, but yeah, Velvet's great, but I haven't read anything that's as Wayward is really good. I like that a lot. I'm in the middle of Revival right now.
Revival's good. I think the thing with Image Comics was that they had a boom probably around the time Saga came out a few years ago. There were so many things were coming out that were so good. Since then, we haven't quite seen a boom like that. We haven't seen just like knockout after knockout after knockout of books coming out. They've been consistent. They haven't been putting out crap, but it's just been it isn't like it was a few years ago. Where
a few years ago, it was like every single month you had a new first issue for a series that had a huge creative team on it.
Yeah.
And they were like awesome every single time. And it's like you said, like they're still doing really good stuff, but it's the same as say like, you know, Marvel is putting out books that are by the creators that you might not necessarily care that much about, like Ed Brisson or something. Not a lot of people give as much of a shit about him as say like Hickman or Remender. And it's the same that's going over at Image. Like you still have a bunch of new books that are coming out that are really good, but they don't have the same big names on it. Because back during that boom, it was like Black Science, Deadly Class,
Southern Bastards,
East of West, Saga had come out around that time. Just tons of big name creators going back over to Image and doing shit. And it also kind of developed into the fall of eventually the fall of Vertigo. Like people were going over to Image instead of going to Vertigo.
Yeah.
But I would say for my like favorite Image titles, I think the ones that I look forward to the most month in and month out would probably be Manifest Destiny and Killer Be Killed. And then I also really, I think it might be on hiatus again, I'm not sure, but Sex Criminals is always one of my favorites when it hits a new issue.
Yeah, I just got done reading both of those hardcovers. There was an X-Men question for you, Rye.
What?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like you said, it kind of contributed to the fall of Vertigo, and I think one of the biggest signs for a lot of people was when Scott Snyder decided to take Witches over to Image Comics. Everybody was like, "Really?" Because he was working for Vertigo that's where he cut his teeth with American Vampire, and with a few things, everybody was like, "Oh shit, he's not taking this to Vertigo."
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. But he did have Severed before that. I was gonna say it was his first time doing that.
Years. Oh wait, he had Severed. No, Severed came out around the same time as American Vampire.
Well, I'm talking about before Witches.
Oh yeah.
The X-Men question was
what's an underrated X-Men storyline? Underrated
X-Men storyline.
It doesn't get the love it should.
Age of Apocalypse.
At the top of my head, the first thing I'm thinking of is probably Zeb Wells's run on the New Mutants, which is actually getting a complete collection sometime in the next few months. And maybe Marjorie Liu's run on Astonishing X-Men. That was a lot of fun. It was headlined by the North Star's wedding, but there was so many good things that came after that. I know there's probably a couple that I'm not thinking of. I would have said X-Men Legacy, the Legion series, like a while ago, but then whenever it got an omnibus, a bunch of people started paying attention to it. Before that, though, like most people didn't know about it, and I remember recommending it to a bunch of people. I don't know. Those are the ones that I have on the top of my head.
Nice. Is Revival Deluxe Edition worth the buy? I've only finished 2 out of the 4 books, so I'll be able to answer that question next week. So far, the first 2 books are good. I'm taking a break to read Suicide Risk, which is not put out by Image, but I just got a bee in my bonnet today and wanted to read it.
Favorite Vertigo comics of all time. All caps. Lots of exclamation and question marks.
Yeah, I thought that was John P's gig.
Mm-mm.
Someone's imitating him.
The challenger is approaching. Favorite Vertigo runs of all time, though. I'm not gonna count the 2 big ones because Animal Man by Morrison and Swamp Thing by Moore, neither of those, if I recall correctly, were actually part of Vertigo. Those series became Vertigo after they finished those runs, and now they're labeled under Vertigo. But those would typically be at the top of my list. Otherwise, Yeah, Preacher is an absolute classic. Transmetropolitan is an absolute classic. And then for more modern stuff, I would say that I loved Scalped and I loved Sweet Tooth. And then, of course, Sandman kind of has its own... Because Sandman started normal DC and then it went to Vertigo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say my favorite is Fables.
Wow. I'm surprised you didn't give it to Hellblazer.
I love Hellblazer too. Hellblazer is great, but Fables is the one I think. Well, when Hellblazer was at its peak, Hellblazer and Fables were the ones that I was most excited about in singles to collect.
Mm.
Back when I was a singles guy.
I love Fables for the everything that I read. I never finished it. I need to go back and finish that.
I have like maybe 25 issues left that I need to read, but should I start reading X-Men with the Claremont run? In my opinion, I would say yes. And then if you're curious about the older stuff, go back. But the Silver Age X-Men stuff, like Stan Lee's run, is really not great. It's actually oftentimes kind of boring. But when you get to the point where Neil Adams is on the artwork, that run is fantastic. Like,
you hear that? You hear that, Jess? Neil Adams' run is fantastic.
That's because he didn't write it.
That's also because this was back in, the 60s and 70s when Neil Adams wasn't full of shit.
It's when he could draw, and he drew darn well.
Mm.
Like
I love his X-Men, and I love his old stuff.
I'm just gonna put Neil Adams on a list of people we'll never have on this show.
Like, Neil Adams and fucking, what is it, Alan Davis are two artists that I love their pre-modern work, but then when it comes to their modern work, there's something... Alan Davis not as bad, but something about it now just doesn't stand up to what he used to do. And it disappoints me because I always get excited. I'm like, yeah, Alan Davis. And then all of a sudden I look at it and I'm like, why is this not as good as his run on Excalibur?
Yeah. Mm. If you guys could have a San Diego Comic-Con panel with any one artist and writer duo, what would that panel be about?
Daniel Way and Greg Land.
Chris Ware and Neil Adams.
Can I fight them?
No, Brian Hitch and Neil Adams. And the topic is artists that can't write.
I mean, in reality, I'd probably go with my safe bet and say like Morrison and Quitely.
Of course. That's the go-to for me too.
That would be nice.
That would be the go-to for me too. A reflection on All-Star Superman or something like that. You know what I did? I went back and I read. Geez, now I'm blanking on the name of the series. That issue that they did. There was a parody of The Watchmen.
Yeah, the Pax Romana from Multiversity.
God, it's so fucking good. I forgot how good it was. I read it again the other day. It's just brilliant stuff.
When you said Watchmen parody, I thought like you meant like a parody, and I forgot that we were talking about Morrison and Quitely, and I was like, like the Watch, because I had two. I don't know if I ever showed you guys, but I had two Watchmen parody comics. One of them was called What Men, and the other was called Watchmensch, and it was like they were all Jewish.
No, I'm really looking forward to actually see what they can do with the Watchmen now that it's going to be on HBO.
They're gonna have a lot of boobies and stuff in it.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be a lot of boobies
and wieners.
Hey, there's Sam Cluxon. Only it's Samuel von Kluxenborg III. Sam Cluxon, where have you been, buddy?
So, for the TV show, do you think they'll dive into the before Watchmen stuff to fill it in?
Probably not. How do you guys handle an out-of-print missing volume to a series you're collecting? How long do you wait for a reprint? Or do you splurge to buy from a reseller?
Those are good questions.
I go into the fetal position and I cry. I don't eat Takis. I eat Takis. I read that as like either I'm eating sticky tack or I eat thumbtacks.
I buy mostly digital, so I don't have that problem.
I had that problem recently with Suicide Risk number 5. I knew it wasn't going to get a reprint. I wasn't going to pay $80 from a reseller. I threw it to the Omnipups in the Omnibus group, and Raleigh Smith found it for me at an online comic store. So my answer is beat the bushes online and in your state to find the missing volume. Or go to Ollie's.
I mean, that's realistically, that's what I've done. Like, what's a good example? Like when I was trying to track down New Mutants Classic, when I was trying to track down the Hulk Visionaries by Peter David, when I was trying to track down the Excalibur Classic and Alan Davis paperbacks, I just almost every day, I would check all over the internet, Amazon, eBay, everywhere. I Google and see other random little stores pop up. I would go on a regular basis to like all the half-price books around me, all the different comic shops, until eventually I found them. And then I think one person found one of the Hulk Visionaries at a shop, a local shop for me, and I paid them to send it to me. And then I think one person helped me the same way with a volume of Excalibur, but the rest of them I just did my due diligence and tried. And every time I went out of town, I looked at every shop I could until I found them. And it's, it took forever. In some cases, it took a long time, but eventually I was able to get them and didn't have to, spend an arm and a leg trying to buy them. That's really rewarding. That's one of the reasons I don't like spending that much money, and I also don't like it feels like a cop-out when I'm just like, fuck it, I'll spend like, $200 for Inferno. I was like, no, I'm not spending $200 for Inferno. I'm going to find that shit for cover.
Yeah, it's a pretty satisfying feeling to find something outrageously overpriced for cover.
Or less.
Or less. Yeah, Excalibur is supposed to be, I haven't read it, but Excalibur is supposed to be great.
I read the first volume. And it's really great. I never continued with it. I kind of got out of track, but it was a really, really enjoyable series. And that's Alan Davis's artwork with Claremont writing.
I just ordered, I believe, the Epic, which is the first few volumes of that.
It's like the first two what is it, Visionaries collections or classic collections.
Okay.
You're gonna tell me I talk a lot, you can at least spell my name right.
Yeah, really. He's supposed to talk a lot. He's on this show. This is where we talk.
We should do a show where we don't talk at all.
There at the camera.
We're trying that concept right now.
Oops, sorry.
What concept?
The no talking concept.
Yeah, J-Rock's basically my whole collection is a to-read pile.
So what? 80% of your books you haven't read yet, Jess?
I'd say that's right.
Jeez.
Jess has read the same percentage of his books as I have not read of my books.
Yeah, you're awesome that you're able to read 80% of your collection. That's amazing.
Well, it's because I've read everything that I buy before I buy it. So like whenever the new books come out, like, you know, I'll get the Vision hardcover. I've already read it. So, and then like Spider-Gwen had a hardcover come out. I already read that. What else? Like just looking at my shelf, most of the books that I get, I'm like, I've already read this, but I'm buying it because I liked it enough that I want it on my shelf. And then the other 20%, I'm just like, oh no, I haven't read this yet, and I don't know when I'm going to read it.
Best book for a cold, dreary winter day. Sandman for me.
Good choice. Cold, dreary winter day.
Dragon Ball Z.
Really? Huh.
No.
Oh, okay. Uzumaki.
Oh. Now I'm like legit thinking, I don't know.
Yeah, me too. I really want to figure it out.
Cold.
Something warm and inviting and fun.
Crossed. You know,
Gabe's not even on the show, and it's still got.
I love the Larfleeze Christmas special.
I do too.
Maybe Neon Genesis Evangelion. That one's pretty cold.
I still need to read that and watch it.
I need to watch it. Yeah.
Gio keeps telling me I should watch it.
That is quite the series.
I've heard mixed things.
A lot of Hellblazer would work good for cold, dreary winter days.
Yeah. I'm gonna say something Deadpool to make me feel good, or something Harley Quinn. One of those fourth wall breakers.
Okay.
That makes me feel good. If it's like depression you're fighting, or it's a cold, dreary winter day, and you're kind of bumming out because you can't go outside and play Mumbledy Peg.
So, actually, I wanted to ask you this, Riley. What do you think? 20th Century Boys hardcovers, will they be the Shakira box set this year?
Well, they're not coming out all at once, so unfortunately, I don't think so.
Oh, damn. I think they'll be pretty popular, though.
I do too. I'm thinking I'm gonna, because I never bought the whole series, I'm gonna read the 9 volumes of it that I have, and then I'm gonna suffer forever, and then sell them and buy the hardcovers, and then eventually, when the hardcovers catch up to where I've read, I'll keep reading. That's my plan. I'm sticking to it.
For live streams, could you do a collaboration maybe with other comic book YouTubers out there like Hybrid Network, NerdSync, The Weekly Pull, CBC Variant Comics, Emergency Awesome? Those guys have like 1 million subs. And I know myself well enough that I would not get along with Benny from Comic Story. I read my Akira box set within days of getting it. Fuck everyone.
No, she can't come in here. She poops every time. No, she poops every time. She pooped. She was in here twice. She's pooped twice. She's gonna poop.
She's gonna poop.
She thinks that the carpet is grass. She's gonna poop. She's got good acoustics, though. I don't know. My dog likes to poop. I don't know what is gonna be the Kira. Like, there's not a really big, because the Kira was announced like almost a year ahead of time.
Yeah, that's true.
And everyone was like, "Fuck yeah!"
I don't know. I think it has a shot at it. I think it's going to be really popular. We've been talking about it for a while now. I would love to see Pluto get collected in a one hardcover collection.
Now you got me like scratching my. I was gonna scratching my head, but I guess I'm scratching my beard. Thinking about what's gonna be like Shakira this year.
Manga wise?
It's just not even manga wise, just book wise. It's still early on in the year. We might get something in the next few months and go, oh shit, that's gonna be it. Like, we know the Annihilation trades are gonna be pretty big. Anything particular from DC or Marvel?
I'm gonna look at my list again. I busted it out last week.
I don't think there is anything. Now looking back on it, I don't think there is anything this year so far that's like that level.
Avengers by Hickman 2, Batman 66, Batman by Morrison Volume 1, Nightfall Volume 3 for Jess, Carnage, Daredevil by Mark Waid Volume 2, Daredevil Shadowland, Deadpool and Company, Deadpool Daniel Way 1 and 2, Deadpool Minibus Volume 0, Ex Machina, Infinite Crisis is getting reprinted. That's pretty big. Impulse by Wade and Ramos, Miles Morales Ultimate Spider-Man, Teen Titans Volume 2 and 3, Punisher Max by Ennis 1 and 2. Those will be pretty big. Runaways is going to be a good one. Secret Invasion by Brian Michael Bendis, Seven Soldiers of Victory by Grant Morrison, the then Omnibus Volume 1, Weapon X The Return, Wolverine Goes to Hell is going to be my biggest. I'm most excited about that. Wonder Woman by Perez Volume 3, X-Men Legion Quest, and X-Men Revolution by Chris Claremont. That one's going to be big for all the X-Men completists.
Nothing really for me. Like, there's a few things that here and there that I really want to pick up, but nothing off the top of my head that I could go, wow, that's going to be like the Shakira box set this year.
What was the equivalent in previous years?
Valiant.
Oh, yeah.
But Valiant didn't come out. It was just...
It was a thing already.
Because
It was a publisher,
I wanted Valiant, and then everyone got Valiant at the same time.
Which forced your hand, and you had to buy a whole bunch of hardcovers from
I was
Valiant.
like, damn it, if I don't get them now, I'm going to be fucked. So I had to, because I was just like, hey guys, I'm going to buy Valiant. And everyone else was like, me too, en masse. I was like, fuck. I was going to space it out. I was going to do like one book a month.
And everybody started snatching them up real quick.
And I was like,
that
no,
was crazy.
These are limited. I'm not going to be able to get them.
The Commandy Omnibus. I actually want to get the Commandy Omnibus.
Commandy Challenge was not very good. I'll say that.
Really?
That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
It was a valiant idea, but it just was not executed as well as it could have been.
I did say it was the year of Valiant, yeah.
It's the year of you screwed me. You're the one that screwed me.
I didn't think it would take off like that. I was like, yeah, this is going to be the year of Valiant. And then sure enough, the next day it was like, hey, we just ordered a whole shit ton of Valiant books.
It takes one fucking person to be like, look at my IST order. Like, I emailed them about it too. I told them. I emailed them and said, you're going to want to stock up.
Yeah. They had a bunch of good stuff.
Mr. Bedford, I hope you like your redeemable too.
Didn't you write an email to them apologizing to them or something like, hey, sorry about like us?
No, I said, because I made my order early.
Right.
And I asked them something about it. Like, I asked them about if one of them, because I remember, I think what it was I remember seeing that some of the books that they had available were not in print elsewhere, and it had And so I was like, hey, I just want to make sure if any of those books are not in print, just remove them from my order. And then I said, by the way, I'm really sorry, but a bunch of people are about to start buying Valiant books.
That's what it was. Okay. Mr. Betty Ford, you bought the absolute irredeemable edition. I've got bad news for you.
Oh, you mean you bought the definitive edition of Irredeemable?
Yeah. You want to break it to him?
Ooh. Gosh, I hope you didn't actually do that.
Because there's not going to be a volume 2.
There's no volume 2 or 3.
And they're not going to publish it either. They've said so.
Right. Well, read it and enjoy it, and then catch up on the premiere editions.
Yeah.
Number 5 is coming out, I think, in March.
Yeah, they've said already that they're not going to put out any more of those, but they're going to keep the premiere editions. He's behind on the stream. He's catching up right now. There it is.
God, yeah. Sorry, Betty.
I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, but the premiere editions, the premiere editions are really nice. They're oversized.
Mm-hmm.
You get them cheap from in stock, and so you'll still be able to finish the series.
Yeah, I think the last one comes out this year, doesn't it, Jess?
I think in March. Yeah, I think March, July, somewhere, December. Yeah, sometime this year.
Yeah, for some reason they decided not to continue with that line, so they just went with the premiere editions instead, which are nice. Actually, they're not bad.
Yeah.
Most disappointing unfinished hardcover series.
Well, the Unwritten ended with 1 volume.
Unwritten, easily my first choice.
Yeah.
I was really excited to collect that in hardcover.
It wasn't a hardcover series, but it was Peter David's X Factor.
The complete collections?
Yeah, I was so pissed.
Yeah. I had all the regular ones, and I remember debating at the time. I was like, should I sell them for the complete collections? Because I like thicker volumes better. Mm-hmm. And mine were kind of like, you know how sometimes the trade paperbacks are like different heights and widths? So mine were all mismatched and stuff, and I was like, it could look a lot better.
Did you pull the trigger?
No, I didn't.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, no, I stayed safe. I played it safe.
That was a good move on your part.
There was a volume 2 of Unwritten on Amazon, but it got canceled. Well, I know I told my wife that I'd be about an hour, so I think that I'm gonna have to go. And plus, Millie is here, and she's probably about to poop. Like she's giving me no signs of the poop, but I know my dog.
Do you think they'll ever? Okay, I'll finish it off with this. Do you think they'll ever reprint the Hickman FF omnibuses? Probably, but if you want to go ahead and read them, it's all under the Marvel Unlimited app right now for like $10 a month.
Are those available at paperback at all?
They're
the regular paperbacks, like the original, but like almost 10 volumes.
Yeah, I think they're out of
skinny little things.
Right? I think some of them are out of print though, right?
Oh man, so you can't even collect them that way?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I didn't really look into it. I remember I had a couple of volumes in collected, you know, the paperback and hardcover, whatever. And then I had all the singles, and then I wound up selling all of them because the Omnis got solicited, and I was like, yes, because it was one of my favorite runs.
Kill 6 billion demons. That sounds like manga. Have you guys heard of that?
It is not a manga. I believe it is a webcomic.
Oh. I've never heard of it.
Did you guys see that Image comic that came out this week, The Milkman or something like that? The Ice Cream Man?
Oh, the anthology?
Is it an anthology?
Yeah. It's like a Twilight Zone anthology.
Is it? Issue 1 came out this week.
Right. Yeah, I want to get that.
Yeah, Kill 6 Billion Demons is a 2013 new weird fantasy webcomic written and illustrated by Tom Parkinson Morgan, also known as Abaddon. God is dead.
Cavs 1, I'm going to go have sex. See you in 10 seconds. Jess, what is the framed elephant picture in your house?
When did you see that? That must have been when I showed the Christmas tree. I'm sorry I don't have it with me. Normally I'd go upstairs. It's in second grade in Carmel, where I grew up, California. There's a famous artist, cartoonist named Eldon Dedini. He used to do cartoons for Playboy and Esquire and all kinds of other magazines. He was really famous. He came to my second grade class, and I was an aspiring artist. He was a very nice guy, and I said, could you please draw me an elephant with glasses reading a book? And he said, okay. And I totally forgot about it. And about 4 weeks later, in the mail, came this beautifully illustrated elephant with glasses sitting there reading a book with a signed letter saying, Jess, I enjoyed your art. Please enjoy my art. Your friend Eldon. And it's like a collector's item because he was a really famous cartoonist. I should get that specially insured because it's great.
Well, I don't have anything fun like that.
You have the Boba Fett helmet,
which I'm probably going to be selling to help pay for Chewie's vet bill. I'm still only like halfway there. Megan actually called me out. She was like, I thought you were going to be selling a lot of stuff. And I'm like, I am, but I just
did put a lot of stuff up for sale.
Yeah, I actually did sell a lot of it. I just need to get back onto it. But I've got to peace out. I'm going to watch a little TV with Megan before we go to sleep.
Okay.
But I've got the weekend off, which means I should hopefully be able to film another video. I know a lot of people were asking for me to do a room tour, so I'll probably do that because I haven't updated in since I moved into the house. And I'm gonna read stuff.
Okay, Riley, where can they find you doing this video?
Oh, you can find me on my channel, which I finally can't make jokes about being inactive. My channel is Ryleymo on YouTube, or you can search the Omnibus Collector and you should be able to find me without problem. And I also have that nifty Facebook page where everyone is mean to each other, called the Omnibus Collectors Comic Swap and Community. And I also have my website, theomnibuscollector.com, which is a little bit inactive, but I have a 9-page draft that I just need to add images to. And I will post that hopefully this weekend.
And are you staying on, Luis, or are we signing off?
I'm signing off. I gotta deal with the missus too.
Okay, where can they find you on the interwebs?
You can find me at Comics Guide 101. Right here on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. All the same thing.
Okay, and you can find me, OmniDog's Vault, on YouTube and on Instagram, OmniDogs_Vault on Instagram. And I'm also a member on Riley's Facebook group.
So, Jess is the reason you can't get in if you haven't.
Jess is the reason everyone's mean to each other now.
Right.
true. It's true.
Death Dog, where are you going?
If you want to get a lot of attention in the group right now, post your Ollie's haul. That's going over really well.
That's so
Everybody-
2 days ago.
Yeah, everybody's loving that one.
All right, well, I'm going to peace out.
Same. Have a good night, everybody.
Okay.
Later.
Good night.
Adios.
Do you guys want me to just stay on and ask me questions? I got nothing to do. Or else do you want me to end this chat? Well, I'm not getting any questions, so I should probably sign out too. Okay. Ask me questions. I don't have anything to talk about. I will talk about this Vision hardcover, which I was really surprised at. I didn't know when I first looked at it. It's got all these, I thought it was damaged. It's got all these water spots on it. And I guess that's just I guess that's just the way it's printed. At first I thought it was really damaged because I wonder if it is damaged. Does anybody have this out there? I should have asked Riley, because the front pages are wrinkled. But I thought maybe this was just a graphic artist type thing. I wonder if this, and it's got wavy pages. Maybe this thing was damaged. Yeah, the paper is wavy. Okay, they're part of the design. Okay, good. That's what I thought. But the pages are a little wavy. Sam, she just doesn't like coconut. My daughter just doesn't like coconut. It's one of those things. I don't like walnuts, and she doesn't like coconut. Jess, can you do an episode on all your custom bound books? Yeah, that should be a good idea. That's a good idea. I'd be happy to. That's a good idea, John P. Maine root beer. Okay, I'll try that. I still have 2 months to go in the root beer of the month club. Maybe that Maine root will be in there. I have 2 more 6-packs to get. What one book or series have you had the longest without reading it? Oh, that's a great question. Probably Fantastic Four by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. I've had that forever, and I haven't cracked it open. I remember reading it when I was a kid, but I haven't read it, and I've got like the original, excuse me, first printing, and the pages are super thick. But yeah, that's a good question, Henry. Nothing's wrong with walnuts. They just I just don't care for them. If you like walnuts, that's cool. I was just telling Sam that it's just like my daughter doesn't like coconut. When did I get into statues? I got into statues, especially these bombshells, when the bombshell covers came out that are also up here. Harley Quinn was my first bombshell right here, and they were my gateway drug into statues. The bombshells were bombshell statues. Jake of Time, Everything Nerdy. Is there any reason why you don't read most of your collection? Yeah, the reason is I can't keep up. My eyes are way bigger than my reading stomach. I just constantly get more. I just think this looks great. I have to have it. This looks great. I have to have it. And I I read and read and read, and I just don't feel like I'll ever catch up. Let's see. You should have Faria back on your channel. Okay. I will see if she wants to do it. She was a good guest. What is your opinion of the Jeff Johns GL Omnis you have in the background? I love them. They are a great. I custom bound the Green Lantern Corps to go alongside them, and that is a great reading experience. So I love the Jeff Johns GL Omnis. How much is a good custom bind? That's a good question because my custom bind guy that I used is now in Japan and doesn't do it anymore. But you can go to Houchin Bindery. That's Tim Benson. I think he's on the Omnibus group still. I would, if I recall correctly, I think my custom bound books cost, I want to say, like $60 or $70 a book when you factor in all the design that had to go into them, the actual putting together of the pages, the mapping, and then the process itself. I think it was like $60 to $70. Is Tyler going to be your next guest? Yeah, I would love Tyler to be my next guest. Do you watch the DC TV shows? I'm way behind, way behind. See, this is just like my books. I love everything and I just can't get to it. I'm way behind on Supergirl. I'm way behind on Flash. I'm like 4 years behind on Arrow because I never even started it. So I love those shows, but I just never seem to catch up on them. I love the Flash especially. Are there any times you splurged and regretted it? If so, which was the worst? I generally haven't. I'm trying to look at the books. Splurged, you mean like went over cover price and then I really regretted it? I haven't really gone over cover price on too much stuff. I'll tell you, sometimes I regret getting something and then it gets I look and look and look and find it, and then it gets a reprint, and then it's available to everybody. It took me a long time to put together the Punisher volumes, the Punisher Max 1 through 6. It took me a long time to put that together, and now it's going to be an omnibus, and it's no big deal. So I sort of regret that I spent so much time on that, and now everybody's going to be able to get it. No, I haven't interviewed Bond. I'll have to see Sam if he's interested in being interviewed. He's kind of shy. He's very busy, but he'd be a good one. Where do I buy my floppy frames? Target. And I think Michael's also has good ones. Mr. Betty Ford asks, how many books are you reselling after reading? Because whenever I finish the book and I don't feel like I need it in my collection, I sell and use the money for new stuff. I have started doing that recently with big, oversized hardcover books. If I read it and I don't feel like I'm going to reread it again, then I'm usually selling it or giving it away, donating it. Now I just have a problem with space. That's what my real enemy is lack of space. So yeah, if I don't want to reread something, then I'm selling it. No, thank you, Matt. BFF, thank you. Are the Stan Lee and Jack Kirby FF omnibuses easy to get right now? That's a good question. I haven't checked in a long time. So let's see on Amazon if they're out of print. Number 1's out of print. Number 2's out of print. Wow. And number 3's out of print. They're all out of print. Wow. I did not know that. But they're not wildly expensive. So you should be able to find them on eBay for a reasonable price. Flame 3 is the hardest to get, I believe. It has never been reprinted. Ah, okay. Would it be too personal to ask what kind of job you're doing? No, that's fine. I'm an individual investor in the stock market. I've been doing that for 30 years. That's how I make my dosh. Fox News. I wish I worked at Fox News just to, no, I guess I shouldn't make that joke. Okay, well, my wife is now calling me, so I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you very much for watching. Please give us a like on Omnibroslive. Please subscribe if you can. Leave a comment. And we appreciate your watching. We always love talking to you guys. And look forward to next Monday when we'll be back on Omnibroslive. Thank you very much for watching. And so far, Revival is good, Jordan. Revival's really good so far. I've read 2 of the 4 books. So thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Peace and love. Peace and love.